In the dense, towering forests of Oregon, the logging industry thrived in the 1970s, fueled by the nation's demand for timber. Among the many logging crews working in the remote wilderness, one group stood out for their reputation of tackling the most challenging terrains, a tight-knit team led by Jack the Bull Thompson. Jack, a burly man in his 40s with a no-nonsense attitude, had been logging these forests for over 2 decades. His team was a mix of seasoned veterans and eager newcomers, each one trusting Jack with their lives. Their latest assignment took them deep into the Cascade Mountains, to an area rumored to be haunted by old Native American legends of forest spirits and creatures unknown to modern science. The men dismissed these stories as superstitions, focusing instead on the massive old-growth trees that promised a lucrative payday. The crew arrived at the new site early on Monday morning. The air was crisp, and the forest was silent except for the occasional rustle of leaves. The men set up camp, their chainsaws and logging equipment gleaming under the rising sun. Jack gathered his team for a briefing. "All right, boys," Jack said, his deep voice carrying authority. "We've got a big job ahead of us. Let's get these trees down and move out by the end of the week." The men nodded, confident in their abilities. As they started their work, felling trees with precision and expertise, the forest seemed to watch in silence. By the second day, the men began to feel an eerie sense of being watched. Strange noises echoed through the woods, low growls, heavy footsteps, and occasional glimpses of large, shadowy figures moving among the trees. "Probably just bears," one of the loggers, Dave, suggested, trying to mask his unease. "Yeah, nothing we can't handle," another logger, Mike, chimed in, though his voice lacked conviction. Jack, sensing the growing anxiety among his men, tried to keep morale high. "Stick together, stay alert, and we'll be fine," he assured them. On the third day, the tension reached a breaking point. While Jack and a few others were deep into the forest, marking trees for felling, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. The men dropped their tools and ran towards the sound. They found one of their crew, Sam, on the ground, his body badly mauled. Standing over him was a creature unlike anything they had ever seen, a towering, muscular figure covered in thick, matted fur, its eyes burning with an unnatural intelligence and rage. "Bigfoot," someone shouted, panic spreading through the group. Jack, ever the leader, grabbed an axe and charged at the creature. The other men followed suit, brandishing whatever tools they had. The creature let out a deafening roar and disappeared into the forest, leaving Sam's lifeless body behind. The death of Sam shook the men to their core. Fear gripped the camp, and talk of abandoning the site grew louder. But Jack, determined to see the job through, insisted they stay. "We can't let some wild animal scare us off," he argued, though deep down he knew this was no ordinary animal. That night, the creatures returned, this time in numbers. The loggers, armed and ready, fought valiantly but were no match for the sheer strength and ferocity of the Bigfoots. Mike and Dave were taken down, their screams echoing through the night as they were dragged into the darkness. Jack managed to kill one of the beasts with a well-aimed swing of his axe, but the victory was hollow. The remaining loggers, battered and terrified, realized they were facing an enemy they could not defeat. By dawn, the surviving loggers had made a decision. They packed up what little they could carry and left the camp, abandoning their equipment and the fallen bodies of their comrades. As they trudged through the forest, the weight of their ordeal heavy on their shoulders, they vowed never to speak of what had happened. When the logging company sent a team to investigate the sudden cessation of work, they found the camp deserted. The official report labeled it a group walkout, citing stress and difficult working conditions. The families of the missing men, desperate for answers, were left with nothing but grief and unanswered questions. The forest reclaimed the abandoned logging site, erasing the traces of the battle that had taken place. The families of the missing loggers never saw their loved ones again, their pleas for a deeper investigation ignored by the authorities. The company moved on, hiring new crews and continuing their operations elsewhere, the story of Jack Thompson and his men fading into the realm of forgotten history. But in the quiet moments, when the wind rustled through the trees and the shadows danced in the moonlight, the legend of the loggers and the Bigfoots lived on. Whispers of the encounter spread among those who worked in the forests, a cautionary tale of the dangers lurking in the unexplored depths of the wilderness. Years later, old-timers in the logging camps would speak of Jack the Bull Thompson with a mix of reverence and fear. Some claim to have seen the creatures themselves, their eyes glowing in the night, watching, waiting. Others dismissed it as campfire stories meant to scare newcomers. But those who knew the truth, who had seen the fear in the eyes of the few who survived, understood that some legends were born from the darkest corners of reality. The forest, vast and untamed, held secrets that defied explanation, and the story of the loggers who fought the Bigfoots became a part of the lore that surrounded the Cascade Mountains. In the end, the tale served as a reminder of the power and mystery of nature, and the thin line between man and the unknown. And though the men of Jack Thompson's crew were never seen again, their story endured, a testament to their bravery and the inexplicable horrors they faced in the heart of the Oregon wilderness.